Welcome, friends, to another edition of Salty Logs. Get comfortable in your seats. We're all wonderful enjoyers of the arts, and I'm trying to bring you something a little unique here. I've got two fabulous, just pinnacles of drama in general. I've got Blevins. We're doing this through time and space, ladies and gentlemen. Mitch, it's Salty Logs. Talishar has been on the rise. They're doing such good work over there to really just digitize and allow players to just plug in. But when you have the internet and you have anonymity, suddenly your cojones just go exponentially large, and you decide that with anonymity comes all kinds of nasty stuff that you want to say. So we have taken some of the best submissions of salty chat logs from Talishar. The first salty log submitted by, I guess we'll say player 2. So we're not going to use the names of the doofi that are being here, but we'll say that you, Blevins, will be the offending player, right? Whom we shall remain, anonymous.
Red Text McGee, yeah.
Correct. You'll be Red Text McGee. And Uber, you will be player 2 McTwoface. Does that make sense?
That's fine.
All right. The chain link was closed. Player 2 played Coax a Commotion.
Herder, me play Briar. Me play on easy mode. Me drop cards. Me smart.
Player 2 wins.
Unga Bunga Mountain.
Opponent has disconnected. The her to her. I wanted some inspiration on this, Blevins, because you went deep into the vocal range on that one.
Yeah, that was a combination of orcs from Warcraft and Cookie Monster. Those were my inspirations there.
Mitch, do you ever get this kind of feeling when you're playing against a Briar player that they're just unga-bunging and just tossing cards together?
Just slamming them down. Yeah, sometimes I think they don't even look at the order of their hand. They just throw them out, they just put them on the table and just see where the bones fall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a NAA, go again. Rosetta
I've terrorized armories on Briar. That was, I think, one of my first competitive days, because I was like, man, I'm just trying to get out of here and win. You know what I mean? I look at my hand, I'm like, oh yeah, if I just put this one after this one, then I can do this thing again, and then I could get to do 2 and 2 for free with this sword that's common. Yeah, that seems sick.
You know what, Blevins? You have a talent of being a man of many faces here, and I was kind of thinking, do I want a David Putty treatment on one of these? Do I want a Stephen A. Smith treatment on one of these? So, can you just give us a reread real quickly of the first couple lines here as Stephen A. Smith?
Herder, me play Briar. Me play on easy mode. Me drop cards. Me smart.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
This one is, we'll say, let's see. You can be Red Text McGee, Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Blevins, you can be Blue Text McGee. And do you want to do this one as David Putty?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Player 2 played Spinal Crush. Player 2 pitched Buckling Blow. Player 1 activated Grasp of the Arknight. Player 1 passes. Player 2 passes. Player 1 played Sink Below. A card was put from the bottom of the deck.
Fuck off!
Shoopman wins.
This feels worse than Starvo. No interaction.
Yeah, you have AB in block 3s, right? You're the one playing dominated Spinal Crushes. Ha ha.
High five. This feels worse than Starvo. Is basically Exhibit A in the.
I mean, I agree that this is worse than Starvo, and that it
Yes,
was not as good as Starvo.
That's what I'm saying. This is basically, how do you tell people that you've never played the Starvo meta without telling them you played the Starvo meta.
Also, who actually thinks this is bad since Blood She Skeleton was banned? The guy does the same thing every turn. Morphs, guys, Shrill, swing with Rosetta.
You're right. I think Talishar does kind of need a little bit something better than a thumbs up, thumbs down system, because my reputation currently is at 100%, which means that I think if I just get, I have like 15 thumbs down in the bank before I have to worry about stuff. So I could honestly go in there and full on be like just turbo dick, and it's not gonna affect my reputation.
Submit that to you to be on the show. And it's
I
gonna be
wish.
super awkward.
I wish. Bring it on.
That guy literally Bravo dominated a Spinal Crush and is the one complaining, by the way. Just so we're on the same page here. Because his opponent had what? A defense reaction. A sink below. Oh, come on, bro, please.
The worst thing ever.
Is he just mad? Is he just mad that the Vis is playing defense reactions? Like there's random draft decks you run into in MTG that are running like negate, like these random like counter target non-creatures. He's like, why is he there? Why are you using that card? I mean, he probably has a 2 of in the sideboard. Bring it in, because yeah, he's gonna get his face beat in.
We got one more. This one, does anyone feel rather into it on player 1 or player 2? Both of them are completely anonymous here. I think this one was given to me by Kale McCreath, or directed to me from Kale McCreath to a degree. Kale gets a lot of hate on Talishar, despite being one of the best players in the world, and it's always hilarious.
So I won't. I'm not going to name any names or out anyone specifically, but there is a funny Kale McCreath story with someone I know in real life that basically they got into a verbal scuffle on either in Discord or something, and allegedly, now I have not corroborated this with any sort of actual evidence. I'm taking one person's side of the story. Apparently, there were threats to essentially throw fisticuffs at LAN with Kale McCreath. So we should. I mean, I want it to happen just from the sheer hilarity of it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if that's true or not. You know, but you know, I'll throw a little stoke.
I mean,
there.
a true Guardian player knows how to draw aggro, right?
The last of the salty logs for this week, friends. It's quite a long one, and it's going to be beautiful. Does anyone feel like they want to be player 1 versus player 2? Player 2 kind of has a more passive role here. Who can be the more passive kind of like, you know, who's feeling what?
Can we leverage Blevins' deep vocal lexicon and give him player 1 here?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, we can try it. We can try something.
All right, is there anything you can pull out of the hat there?
I mean,
do you want to Tony Soprano this one, or?
I could Tony Soprano's not a bad one. I did have an idea that now that I'm thinking about it, it's just way worse than Tony Soprano. So let's do Tony Soprano.
Player 2 played Staunch Response from the Arsenal. Player 2 is pitched Blizzard. Staunch Response is played with X equals 2.
This was an IRL event. I would tie on purpose. Why? Because fuck you!
Player 1 passed. Player 2 passed. The combat resolved with no hits. A whole bunch of bookkeeping
Chain
and
link
other
closing and passing.
Yeah, all kinds of nonsense. We're gonna go to the second window here. Main player drews 4 cards and now has. This doesn't make sense to me. This part of the story. Main player drew 4 cards and now has 2 cards. I don't get that part.
That's cheating, but all right.
Player 2 activated Winter's Wail. Player 2 pitched Winter's Grasp, resolving an activate ability on Winter's Wail. If this hits, your opponent gains a Frostbite. Both player passes.
Who cares? Fucking prove it!
Player 1 passed, player 2 wins. This was probably the best one for the Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
My God, it's perfect.
The Tony Soprano call by our director was spot on for sure. I was gonna go a completely different direction, and I'm glad that we went Tony Soprano.
What people don't realize is that verbatim, the text, word for word, is if this was IRL event, not an IRL. If this was IRL event, I would tie on purpose because fuck you. And it was the because fuck you part that was like Tony Soprano.
That's Tony fucking Soprano. Pass me the fucking gabagool, because I'm gonna fucking tie and eat my fucking gabagool sandwich here.
Also, there's some degree of accountability for doing this in person, but it happens. In fact, there was a story I sort of came to light. I think I'll say that like one of the players involved was Tyler Horsball because he's the one that was public about this. He doesn't name the other player. I know who it was though. It was like a Viserai versus Oldham matchup, and the player, felt that he was well within his rights to force a draw by sort of dragging the game out because he knew he was facing a fatigue strategy and he was being fatigued. And there was a whole discussion about the ethics and the morality of, you know, knowing you can't win the game, but playing for the draw, playing to lengthen the game and go to time.
The best way to end this show, frankly, is the cut to black from The Sopranos. So we'll see if Mark actually. Ultimately, friends, thank you so much for being on Salty Logs. If you guys enjoy Salty Logs, leave a comment down below. Does this happen to you? It must. It's anonymity, baby. Everybody's a tough guy or girl when no names are associated. But if you have your own Salty Log, please take a clear and large, please, screenshot of the log. Send it over to me. Tweet at WatchFlake or at InstantSpeedPod. And you might have your experience narrated by true thespians, true artists like Blevins and Uber. So I thank you once again, gentlemen, for being a part of this. You guys are awesome.